What's up, everybody? It's Old Man Winter 8 for Sun and Ski Sports, and we're going to find out if the Union Ultra is a wise buy for you. So the Ultra was introduced to the Union binding lineup a few years back, and it really kind of changed the way that a lot of binding companies started looking at the bushing systems underneath their base plates. Union has always had a bushing system. It's always been a big feature of their bindings, but this one is very, very unique. So the base plate is their S11 ASIM Duraflex ST base plate, and then we have their molecular bushing and their TPE outsole. So it's really, the base plate is made up of three parts. And the really cool thing is that the bushing and that TPE outsole, that little bit harder material that's still some flex to it, it's all fused together kind of like a running shoe. So this is really making for not only a lighter weight binding, but it's also making for a more durable construction and a more durable connection between those three layers. And why this is important is if you look at this footbed, you'll notice that it is very, very thick all the way around the binding. It goes from side to side and from toe to heel, and it does have a little bit thicker pieces on the inside and the outside. And what this does is it helps them reduce the footprint of the base plate itself, make it a little bit thinner underneath your feet, and this gives you more flex out of your board. When the board flexes around the binding's not stopping it from flexing, so you're getting a much better feel for your board underneath your foot, and then again, you're getting a much better flex out of your board. And then when we move around to the Highback, we have that Ultra Duraflex ST Highback, which has flexibility everywhere you need it, still sturdy when you lean back on it. And we actually have this memory foam on the inside, which is pretty rad. So this basically, when you ratchet your strap down, it helps to mold around your boot a little bit better, but it still is a sturdy material. So once it is molded around those little nooks and crannies in the back of your boot, no matter what boot you're wearing, it's helping to really lock it in and just give you a little bit better link in the back of your binding. And as we move up to the ankle strap, we have that new hybrid 1.0 ankle strap. So a little bit softer, more rubbery material against your foot. And we have these two pods on the sturdier material, and then another sturdy piece going across the top that links from side to side through your ratchets. Now, why this is important is you get a really good mold around your foot and very, very good grip. We get those two pods on the outside, so we're not pushing down on the middle of your ankles. So it's making for a binding that's going to be a lot more comfortable. And then we still have that nice sturdy piece floating over the top. So when you do lean on this thing and you're going from your heel side edge to toe side edge, this binding is going to wind or rack a little bit quicker, and there's not going to be any unnecessary give. And then they also have updated to that 3.0 toolless adjustment, so it's super easy to micro adjust this and get the straps centered up so it fits perfectly. And then moving around to the bottom of the binding, that we have their mini disc, which is going to fit any of the 4x2 or channel boards. And the reason they did that is they wanted to bring that hole pattern in just a little bit so you had even more flex underneath your foot. Obviously, the goal of this binding is to give you that ultimate flex and to get the best flex out of your board. You know, that wider hole pattern stiffening up the flex underneath your foot. But is the Union Ultra a wise buy for you? Well, this is for those intermediate to advanced riders who want that nice, easy, smooth feel everywhere in the binding, not just from toe to heel, but also as they're rolling from side to side to initiate turns. This binding really gives you that nice, easy, smooth feel. You're really going to see this mostly on park boards or some of those medium soft to medium flexing all mountain boards, but it is something you can throw on some of those stiffer boards if you do want to soften up and easen up the feel of it a little bit. And with that being said, another board that these are great for is POW boards, because nothing says easy, smooth feel like a POW board. And another thing that really tells you who this binding is for is you'll notice the Highback has no forward lean adjustment on it. That's because the rider of this binding could care less about forward lean. They want that Highback to be in that standard position, so it does have that little less aggressive feel when you're going from your toe side edge to your heel side edge. But if you got any questions about anything we talked about in the video, definitely leave some comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sun and Ski YouTube channel, and make sure to head on into your local Sun and Ski so you can check out the Union Ultra for yourself. And if you don't have one nearby, no big deal. You can always hit them up at sunandski.com.